Okay, we're back down the Diddy rabbit hole. Somebody said, and I appreciate it, like it's not the rabbit hole, it is now a trench. Because if you've seen The Reckoning that 50 Cent did, the documentary on Sean Puffy Combs, Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puff, I don't know what other names I'm missing, but if you saw the documentary on Sean Combs, it is so good. If you haven't seen it, you must watch it. And you must hurry up and watch it because I got a feeling your boy is going to have it pulled because there's so much in there. But he did a great job on the continuity. Now that's catching you up. But let's talk about what we need to talk about now, which is there was so much stuff. And we know how petty 50 Cent can be. He's a really petty guy. For a guy, he's super petty. But don't mess with him because you go low, he's going to go lower, like way low, and he's going to stay there. And then he's going to come back for some more low. So we know 50 Cent is just that guy. So we were expecting a petty, tabloidy type documentary, but turns out it was not petty or tabloidy. It was a really good, very well produced documentary. But what's not in the documentary, which is why I'm saying he wasn't petty, because it was so much he could include. We know Mace wasn't in there. Now let's talk about why Mace wasn't in there. Now this is my theory, but I believe I'm right because I just think I'm right a lot. But I got great discernment, and I believe and I know a lot of stuff because I was around around that time, in the industry. So I knew a lot of the rumors in the industry. I knew all the gossip in the industry. And I knew all the players in the industry, including some of them that's in that documentary. But the thing about Mace, remember when Brother Love all of a sudden, well, first of all, let's go back to Mace. Let's talk about how Mace was talking a lot of trash before. And Mace is the one that told us, we know that you do dirty, grimy stuff. And you've been holding and taking people's money and not giving them their publishing or their full money. Remember, because his teeth were about to fall out because he had a grill. He had the grill on and the grill wasn't fitting properly. I don't know who put the grill in his mouth. I don't know if the same people did Dame Dash's mouth. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But all I know his mouth was kind of hard to understand him because he was talking like that. But we heard what he said, and he said, the money is in your mama's name. That's how we say it on the street. Your mama, the money was in your mama's name. And that's why it's hard to sue Sean Combs, because Sean Combs is a smart guy and he knew to put the money in the mama's name. So if you try to sue him, he ain't got nothing. But Mace is not in that documentary because Puff all of a sudden had this great benevolence and like, you know what? I know that you keep saying these horrible things about me, and I told you to come see me, and you wouldn't come see me, and all that stuff. And oh, wait a minute, I'm getting that mixed up with Jadakiss, who was also calling him out about the stuff he did, right? Stuff that Jadakiss knew about on the radio station. They had a whole argument back and forth. Jadakiss doing this interview talking about how they were robbed of their riches, right? And allegedly, and your boy was like, hey, you know where I'm at. I'm at the office. Come see me. We all know what that means. It's just like the baseball bat. Just for people who might not understand what the baseball bat reference is, he didn't have to say, I'm going to hit you with this bat. That was an intimidation tactic. And in the streets, we all know what that means. It, first of all, comes from Al Capone. But even Suge's been accused of doing the same thing. Either your brains or your signature going to be on that contract. So you figure out which one it's going to be. So if you see somebody coming in with a baseball bat and they making you an ultimatum, there is an understanding that something could possibly pop off with this bat if it doesn't go in my favor. That's kind of what the inference is. Now, we don't know if that's what Puffy really meant because we weren't in Puffy's head, but that's what I'm sure Kirk Burroughs was thinking. I don't care if he said something to the contrary, because remember, when you go back and watch these interviews that people do, people are still trying to say things in kind of a neutral way so they can stay alive, you know what I mean? Or not have that smoke. But now everybody is like, bump it, we're going for broke. But Mace went for broke a long time ago and was like, I'm sick of this. I want my money. I want my publishing. I want my, I'm the one that kept Bad Boy afloat when Biggie was gone. It was me, and you doing me grimy, and you took all the credit from me. I need you to treat me better, home Playboy. I was about to say homeboy, but for the sake of this story, we're going to say Playboy. Playboy, you did me dirty. So Mace wasn't in there. Jadakiss. A lot of people weren't in there, but Diddy offered people their publishing back. And in exchange for their publishing, there was in there, and I noticed because Aubrey O'Day talked about it, a little clause that said you can't speak disparaging about me or my mama or any of these other things, right? And that's because he knew the indictment was coming down. I'm like, why would he do that? I knew it was something. But I didn't know what. And the reason why Aubrey O'Day is in the documentary and Mace wasn't, Aubrey said she wasn't going to sign it. She said she wasn't going to sign it. She was trying to get other people not to sign it. She was like, I'll pay you the little money that you're going to get from signing it. Don't do it. And people weren't listening to her, but she's on the documentary, but the other people are not. And Mace hemmed your boy up because he got the little thing, but he couldn't get it signed by Diddy. And so he confronted him at a radio station and got his signature signed, but he didn't realize he was signing off some other rights too. But good for him. Hopefully he got all his publishing, and hopefully it wasn't a scammy contract. I don't know. I didn't read it. I don't know. I don't know. But I just know that. But let's talk about he didn't talk about Mace. He didn't talk about we didn't talk about Black Rob, some of the other artists. We didn't talk about Craig Mack. Craig Mack did a I think it was 4 parts, might be even longer, series right before he passed about things that had happened to him in the industry. And even just to give you a little backstory now, yes, in the documentary, you'll see where Andre Harrell was like, you can take Biggie with you when you start your new label. But Biggie wasn't the artist that popped off Bad Boy. It was Craig Mack with a brand new flavor in your ear. Craig Mack popped off Bad Boy. And that song was so popular and so big. And Craig thought he was getting ready to reinvest in him and put his stuff out. And he took the money and pumped up Big. He took the money and pumped up Big. So it created friction between him and Big. See, it was it's a lot of other backstories, and they ain't even go into all of that. But 50 could have, but he didn't go into all that. And we didn't talk about Kim Porter. We did not talk about, and God rest her soul. That's such a tragic story. I don't even want to touch it because it's so tragic. But that could have been a whole documentary by itself. Maybe it's going to be part 2. I don't know. But it could have been a whole documentary by itself. All this, I'm such a good boyfriend. Because remember, Cassie was a side piece to Kim in the beginning. And he was acting like he was such a good boyfriend, got the twins. But then we kept hearing about Cassie. She would keep popping up like an artist, but then you knew she was also his side piece. Why do we know she was his side piece? That's so disrespectful to Kim. And then all of a sudden she pops out as the main girl. So that we didn't talk about. 50 didn't talk about the baby mama, Daphne Joy. We didn't talk about that and their little relationship. And he didn't really go into a lot of the freak offy stuff. He didn't. He could have. He didn't. He didn't talk about, it's a lot of, he didn't go into Shine. It was a lot, not extensively, not an interview from Shine, probably because Shine probably got publishing too, I'm assuming. I don't know. I did know that he got that $1 million record deal with the record that I heard never came out. I don't know how that works, and I don't know all the ins and outs to that one, so don't hold me to that one. But I heard that it was a lot of stuff that went on with that one, because remember, he had Shine take that bid for him, and Shine did it for a while. And let's talk about the fact that this dude, when I heard that he never visited these people, or rarely, or didn't take care of them. And remember Lil' Kim, who was not signed to Bad Boy, so we must acknowledge that, but she certainly was very highly associated with Diddy and his team. Kim said the whole time she was in prison, he did not come to visit her. Now, that's what she said. I'm not saying this. This is what I heard. It's so many backstories. I could do this all day. I have to do another part. I'm going to have to do another part. But let me know who else I miss. Let me know. Let me know what you think about the documentary too. Toodles.